Live from clickorlando.com and WKMG, we're getting results in your neighborhood now at noon.
Now at noon, the Supreme Court says states cannot bar former President Trump from the ballot. The latest from the High Court detailing the justices' unanimous decision.
Plus, a 13-year-old girl found dead days after she was reported missing. The latest on the man deputies are calling the prime suspect in the case. Thanks for joining us this noon. I'm Bridget Ellison.
And I'm Justin Mormouth. Well, those stories and more coming up. First, though, we do want to start with the weather. It's been a foggy day so far. In fact, here's some time-lapse video from our beach cam showing that fog. This was taken just a few hours ago.
Yeah, if you blink, you might miss something there. We could see some isolated storms pop up later. Here's meteorologist Candace Campos.
For a while, I thought my camera was broken. Yeah, but this is another live look right now from Daytona Beach. Just pointed down a little bit. A lot of this fog still suspended just above the surface there, which is why we're seeing a lot here on our tower camera. We're at 73 degrees right now. The breeze out the north-northeast, but we have a lot of those low clouds there that are still kind of just stuck right off the coast of Palm Coast down through Daytona. And as far south as the Cape at this hour, although the reporting stations a little further inland are looking good. A little further south down the beach there, we're at 73 degrees, tons of sunshine right now in Port Canaveral. The breeze out of the northeast at 10. So right now we basically have an old stationary boundary that's still nearby. It's kind of just sitting over top, bringing with it still a lot of moisture and instability in the forecast. So just like a typical summertime setup, we're going to be tracking that east and west coast sea breeze colliding. And because we have all that moisture and instability, it won't take much to fire up those thunderstorms. But where it actually will happen, it looks like it's going to be basically from I-4 towards the west for today. So we're going to keep it about a 20 to 30% chance for our inland zones, a little less along the coast, but we are anticipating more of a widespread threat for rain and storms Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll be talking more on that coming up in just a few minutes, guys.
And thank you, Candace. Now to results 2024. The Supreme Court has ruled former President Donald Trump cannot be disqualified from running for a second term in office because of his conduct surrounding the January 6th Capitol assaults.
The unanimous decision found Colorado's Supreme Court ruling was wrong. Skylar Henry has more from Washington. And while Florida's presidential preference primary isn't for more than 2 more weeks, the first votes will be cast today. Early voting's getting underway, but only in Orange County. Voters can cast ballots at several locations. Then early voting begins on Thursday for Lake County and Saturday for voters in all other Central Florida counties. Start voting early. Tomorrow is set to be the biggest day yet in the presidential race. Voters in more than a dozen states are set to cast ballots on Super Tuesday. The latest polls show Trump leading by double digits in many of these states. It comes as former President Trump's top Republican rival Nikki Haley got her first primary victory in Washington, D.C. over the weekend.
Developing right now, we're waiting to find out when the prime suspect in the murder of 13-year-old Madeline Soto could face additional charges. Stephen Stearns remains in the Osceola County Jail without bond after being arrested on sexual battery charges last week. The teen's body was found in a remote area off Hickory Tree Road on Friday, just hours after investigators said that they have evidence she was murdered. News 6's Ezzy Castro is at the Osceola County Jail with the latest details on the case.
Thank you, Ezzy. A crime alert now in Orange County. Orlando police are offering a reward as they push to find the person who shot and killed a woman at the Central Florida Fairgrounds over the weekend. This video shows the large scene as crowds were leaving the fair Saturday night. Police say 35-year-old Veronica Ramirez was shot in the parking lot just after 10:30. She was rushed to the hospital but didn't make it. No word, though, on a possible suspect or what may have led up to this shooting. Anyone with information that can help investigators is urged to call the crime line. Also in Orange County, Orlando police have released the name of a man who police say was killed in another shooting over the weekend. Just after 8 o'clock, police were called to the Chill Game Room on Columbia Street where they found a man with a gunshot wound. We're told the victim, 35-year-old Jeremy Powell, was taken to the hospital where he later died. Police have not released details on what led up to that shooting. Anyone with information is asked to call the crime line.
Just hours ago, a memorial service wrapped up in Marion County where law enforcement gathered to remember a sheriff's office dog killed in the line of duty. K9 Leo was shot on February 17th while deputies were trying to arrest a man following a domestic incident at a home in Silver Springs. He was rushed to an animal hospital but died days later.
As you look around today, you can see the unique bond between handlers and their canine partners. Just the simple fact that so many of them from all over have traveled here today in support of us and Corporal Totora.
According to Sheriff Billy Woods, Leo was the first canine shot and killed in the line of duty in Marion County.
Liftoff of NASA Crew 8. Go Falcon, go SpaceX, and go NASA.
Next up, the International Space Station. Just before 11 o'clock last night, a Falcon 9 rocket lifted off from the Kennedy Space Center, lighting up the night sky. The 4 members of Crew 8 expected to dock around 3 o'clock tomorrow morning. They will relieve the Crew 7 astronauts who are expected to attempt a return to Earth later this month. Now, if you took photos of the launch, we would love to see what you captured. Submit your space photos to us on clickorlando.com/pins or on the News 6 Pinpoint Weather app. You can also scan that QR code you see there in the top of your screen. Click that link and that'll take you to our Pins page where you can send in your pictures. It's been more than 60 years since the first oral contraceptive pill was approved by the FDA.
And still to come when the first over-the-counter birth control pill will be available. First, though, preventing the spread of measles, a new initiative by one local city to get results, up next. You're watching News 6 at noon. Getting Results. We'll be right back.
Sponsored by the Florida Lottery, who encourages you to play responsibly. No matter what's happening where you live, trust Sky 6 to get you the bigger picture. Exclusively sponsored by attorney Dan Newland.
Wednesday, News 6 is broadcasting our entire newscast live from one of our local neighborhoods, and you won't want to miss it. Join us for a special localized edition of News 6 live from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. We're hearing from you, telling your stories, and it's all with a live audience. It's all happening live from one of our local neighborhoods. Watch as WKMG hits the road. Watch or stream it live Wednesday, starting at 4 p.m.
Live with Bridget Ellison, Justin Warmoth, and weather with meteorologist Candace Campos. You're watching WKMG, getting results at noon.
Measles, a disease once declared eliminated in the United States, is making a comeback. The Florida Department of Health has reported 10 cases so far this year. And last week, Orlando Health confirmed to News 6 4 cases of measles were treated at its emergency departments in February. We checked, though, and those cases still aren't reflected on a state database.
Meantime, a local team effort aims to prevent the spread of measles by making the community more aware. News 6's Mark Lehman reports from Apopka.
Well, here's another live look outside now from the Lodge Credit Union camera at Port Canaveral. Always a little bit of a different view there compared to the foggy beach.
We saw that fog out there from the beach cam at Daytona Beach just a few minutes ago, but it looks a lot better there. Meteorologist Candace Campos pinpointing your forecast, and don't rule out a chance for a storm today too, Candace.
Yes, it's summertime here in Central Florida already, at least for the next few days, as we are, of course, warming up above average. Back into the 80s we go. And right now in downtown Orlando, if you walk outside, it feels almost gloomy, like it's just about to rain. There's no rain right now on the radar. That's just all the fog that is now starting to lift, and it'll take a little while to burn off. Right now, though, we are already in the mid-70s, continuing to climb into the low 80s, and then we are bringing back that chance of rain. Throughout the afternoon, we'll run between about a 20 to 30%, but it's all going to be dependent on where that collision, the east and west coast sea breeze, come together. So we had some morning fog this morning. We'll have it again later on tonight with few storms in the forecast by this afternoon. Then as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday, we are going to see a little more of a wider spread of rain and storms, and it's going to be, again, the progress of where the storms are going to move that's going to make a big difference, and I'll show you why in just a few seconds. And then as we head into the latter part of the week, Thursday, Friday, we're dry, and then as we head into Saturday, all ahead of our approaching front, temperatures are going to warm up even further. We're talking the upper 80s in a lot of spots. So here's kind of the wide view of what's going on. We have an area of low pressure out of the Carolinas, a trailing boundary, an old stationary cold front that is still just keeping the moisture in place, which is why, one, it feels very muggy outside, why we had the fog this morning, and why the sea breezes will produce some rain and storms later on today, just like they did yesterday. Elsewhere around Central Florida, though, we're in the upper 60s across our northwestern neighborhoods, mid to upper 70s right now along our coastline, 78 currently in Cocoa Beach. Kissimmee sitting at 75. So for today, again, we got the East Coast sea breeze coming in out of the Atlantic. We got the West Coast coming in out of the Gulf. Today, it's going to be the East Coast sea breeze that's going to be the stronger of the two, and that's going to pin all that activity towards the west. So we're talking I-4 towards 75 and towards the Gulf Coast. That's where a chance of rain. Now, there will be a chance of some of those scattered showers kind of backing into our east central Florida neighborhoods, into areas of western Orange County, into Seminole County late in the day. Chief Meteorologist Tom Sorrells will be pinpointing more on that later on today. And then as we head into Tuesday, the West Coast sea breeze, that's the stronger one, and that's going to be pushing all that rain closer towards the eastern half of the state. So you can see by 5 o'clock, there's that sea breeze. You can see it kind of zippering there, the two wind barbs there colliding, and all of that will continue to track towards the East Coast. So rain chances on Tuesday and Wednesday will both be elevated compared to today. So again, it's all going to be dependent on where you're going to be. I want to see another round of rain in the forecast for your Wednesday, which, by the way, Wednesday has a pretty low shot, but still a marginal risk of seeing some strong to severe storms come Wednesday. Now let's check on your hour-by-hour forecast for your Monday.
Sponsored by Strata Air Conditioning and Heating. AC emergency? You ought to call Strata.
So highs for today nearing about 80 degrees. Again, after we move through some of those thunderstorms, we will develop some fog overnight. It will be another mild evening. Overnight lows staying pretty warm in the mid to upper 60s. And as we continue throughout the next couple of days, again, looks like we will be in a soggy setup Tuesday, Wednesday, dry for the end of the week, upper 80s come Saturday, and a loss of an hour of sleep come Sunday morning. Back to you guys.
Looking pretty good for the Arnold Palmer Invitational this week. Thank you, Candace. Well, News 6 is giving our insiders a chance to win tickets to see Tim McGraw live in Tampa on March 15th. All you have to do is sign up to be a News 6 insider, which is free. And then next, watch News 6 at 6:30 on clickorlando.com or News 6 Plus to get the keyword of the day. Then head to clickorlando.com/insider for the contest and enter that keyword for your chance to win. Good luck. Still to come, a terminated merger.
Why JetBlue dropped its bid to buy Spirit Airlines. Plus, it marked a major victory for reproductive rights advocates. When you can expect the first over-the-counter oral contraceptive to be available. Coming up.
The live News 6 Mount Dora camera is sponsored by the city of Mount Dora, someplace special.
Now you can get local news at 6:30.
With our all-new streaming newscast, News 6 at 6:30.
Join me and Justin Wormuth for the latest on what's happening in our community and your neighborhood.
And get your pinpoint accurate forecast from Chief Meteorologist Tom Sorrells.
At a time designed to work for your schedule wherever you are.
News 6 at 6:30, now streaming on clickorlando.com, News 6 Plus, and our News 6 app.
In your health headlines, O-Pill, the first over-the-counter birth control pill approved in the U.S., is headed to stores this month, and it can be purchased directly from its own website, opill.com, in the coming days. But it could take a few weeks for the medication to reach pharmacies. A month's supply of O-Pill has a recommended retail price of $20 and $50 for 3 months. The manufacturer says when taken as directed, O-Pill is 98% effective at preventing pregnancy, in line with the effectiveness of most birth control pills.
In your consumer news, after a court ruled to block its multi-billion-dollar merger, JetBlue is pulling out of the deal to buy Spirit Airlines. The Justice Department sued to block the merger last year, saying fares would have likely gone up if Spirit was no longer an independent airline. Meantime, Orlando International Airport is preparing for a busy spring break travel season. The 44-day period is expected to set records with a projected 11% increase in passengers year over year. And with Central Florida airports expected to be busy, you can expect the same thing for beaches and attractions.
Walt Disney World says they're ready for spring. The pastry chefs have rolled out some impressive displays for Easter, where you can go hunting for these eggs. Up next.
If you didn't help me and Channel 6 didn't help me, we probably wouldn't have gotten this resolved. Definitely got results.
Well, when it comes to decorating for any holiday, Walt Disney World, you know, they know how to do it, and they outdid it for Easter. This weekend, the resort rolled out their Easter egg displays. Would you look at these? Incredible works of art can be found at Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa, the Contemporary Resort, and Disney's Yacht Club Resort. While you're at the Grand Floridian, though, be sure to check out the treats menu at the Grand Cottage.
All right.
And I'm thinking I'm creative when I do like one side green and one side blue or something.
Yeah, it's tough to compare to Disney, though.
Yeah.
Let's not set that bar that high.
Those are gorgeous. Of course, they have all the, fun little Eastery kind of treats too.
It's in March this year.
I know, early. It's early this year.
Yeah, going to be a little warm for chocolate eggs today.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Join us for more news and weather coming up at 4. We break news on clickorlando.com.